All wars and conflicts, they exist because of our indifference, intolerance, and our emptiness. Jesus' temptations are our temptation. The three highlighted places, desert, the high mountain, and Jerusalem, shows the scope of the temptation suffer and their diversity, from abundance to indifference, from the fascination with power to intolerance, from prestige to emptiness. The three temptations are interconnected. There is no way to get them separated. Luke shows that Jesus is truly human, and like everyone else, he is tempted. Temptation doesn't mean sin, but it is a seduction of not be faithful to God's plan. Every time that we are not faithful to our goals and our compromises with ourselves, with other people, the temptations are taking over our life. The temptation of abundance is a serious temptation of indifference. To change stones into bread is to be indifferent to human work, effort, and achievements. Abundance is for everyone, and the fact only to want to kill their own hunger generates indifference to the vast majority who are in need. Because I have more, I am indifferent to people. Indifference has to become a way. Indifference has become a way of life, a modus vivendi. The indifference is so great that we don't make any effort. We don't want to work anymore. May everything keep running and turning, the world, people, from far and from nearby. But the only thing that we want, don't disturb us, don't disturb me. We are immersed in our personal world in a small interest. And we are moving all the time the cell phone, and we think this is our world, and this is sufficient for ourselves. And the temptation to have more and to profit more makes people indifferent to the nature to our planet. Indifference makes us irresponsible to leave this house, the planet, for the next inhabitants clean. Overcoming this temptation is to become aware that abundance is for sharing and improving everyone's lives now and in the future. And indifference leads us to scarcity. And if we are not aware of this temptation, we want to have conflict and war. Temptation of power is the temptation of intolerance. Everything change. Change the world, change the people, change behavior. And there is a temptation on all levels within the family in the rejection of behaviors, of different way of thinking, doing things. The temptation of religion, fanatism, that they kill the name of God. The temptation of politics party, and they make war and conflict inside the country and outside the country. And it's the temptation that the fact that the devil wanna give all the kingdoms to Jesus shows the intolerance for the kingdom of God, intolerance for the truth, intolerance of sharing, intolerance for justice and peace. Temptation, I don't tolerate that someone has more than I do. The rich doesn't tolerate the poor, and the poor doesn't tolerate the rich. They say, you have because you stole. Intolerance generates excluded people and make us to hate, or bring us to the hatred in our heart, personally, for a group, nationally, internationally. That's why we have the wars. To overcome this temptation, it's necessary to create a place in our life of respectful dialogue. The temptation of prestige is a temptation of emptiness. To stand on the top of the temple of Jerusalem and see down, there is only emptiness. It's the abyss. It's not just a temptation to put God on the test and forcing Him to take us with the hand and pushing us out. No, that's the temptation of the nothingness. There is nothing there. From the highest point, Jesus is there looking down the abyss and see there is nothing. It's only emptiness. And it happens in our life, we only see emptiness. And the emptiness, our reason say there is nothing. There is no way, there is no sense to be alive. It's better to kill ourselves. That's why we have people, they kill themselves. We have people in Great Depression because they only see the emptiness. They see the nothingness in their lives. There is a great abysm and there is nothing else. In the abysm, there is no God, there is no life. So it's better not to be in this world. And it happens in our life. And that's why we take drugs and everything. And even though, look, a clear example is this. We know that drugs and alcohol take us to the emptiness and to have a bad life. But even though we go that way, because we feel very empty and we think the little pleasure that we have with the drugs and alcohol, that's everything that we have in that moment. And it happens in everything. When the people, they start eating and eat more and more because they feel emptiness and they become fat. And they start buying, and it's not enough, they go buy more and more and more. But the buying, the food doesn't fill your emptiness. Money doesn't fill your emptiness. What is that thing? You all the time want to be satisfied. The only thing who want to fulfill your life is the experience of God. That God's love and people's love, and that you are an instrument of love. That's the only way. And then you want to have a really pleasurable experience of the world and the maximum satisfaction in your life because you really feel that you are the great masterpiece of God's love. If we are not aware of this temptation, of the emptiness in our life, of the nothingness, we want to have conflict and war in this world, in our life.